Welcome back to Breakfast Television. The federal government is revising Canada's food guide. The first phase of the new guide comes out this year. Joining me now is Dr. Norman Campbell and Dr. Alim Barwani of the Cummings School of Medicine at the University of Calgary. With what we can expect in the new one, they'll also tell us about a forum next week where you can learn more. Good morning to both of you. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning.
Dr. Campbell, let's start with you. So we've got this new guide coming out, but what do you really expect to see in there? Because it's been like a decade since it's been revamped.
Sure. Well, the new guide's going to be released in November. The earlier food guide from 2007 was fairly heavily critiqued as it had a lot of industry input and really encouraged people to be eating quite a bit of food in a setting where obesity is a major problem in Canada. So the new food guide has really been developed in the absence of commercial interest, mostly with academic and scientific using best evidence to guide it to date. It's said, it's not being released quite yet, that it'll be mostly based on a variety of plant-type foods, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and legumes, more protein sources from vegetables, limitations in sugar, saturated fats, and of course sodium.
Right. So what is the goal then of this new food guide? It's really, of course, to keep us all healthy, isn't it?
It is, and quite uniquely, it's forming a platform on which other policies will be placed to encourage healthy eating, such as restricting marketing of unhealthy foods to children, ensuring public funds are spent on healthy foods as opposed to unhealthy foods, warning labels on unhealthy foods, and those types of things.
And those types of things. Interesting. Dr. Barwani, what would you like to see come out of this food guide? We talked a little bit about food literacy, even when it comes to kids.
I think what's really interesting is that the Canada Food Guide is the single most downloaded document from the Government of Canada website.
Wow.
That beats out anything from Revenue Canada. and so we also have known that over the last 10 years, Google searches for best foods for XYZ have increased by tenfold over the last 10 years. So we know that this is something that's really important to Canadians. And since the last overhaul, the face of Canada has changed. We have many new ethnocultural communities, whether they've been here for 100 years or 100 days, and all those ethnocultural communities are sharing cuisines. And so we need a food guide that sets principles that is usable and relevant to all Canadians, whether they're eating pierogies, pan, barazi, or bok choy. And so I think what we're hoping for this conference to achieve is to help regular Canadians, regular Calgarians, whether they're low income or middle income, whether they're children or regular families, be able to use the food guide in a way that's useful to them. And so we need to bring in our public sectors, our private sectors, and our nonprofit sectors all together to help achieve that. And there's various innovations through each of those sectors that can help us get there.
Right. We were just sort of talking about this offline, and people were saying, could there be an app for it so that people could download it and it would be so easily accessible?
Yeah, and so an example of a great private sector solution in the lifestyle space is an app called Carrot, and I think it's a really cool app that I've just learned about. And it's a consumer-based app where an individual who gets rewarded for certain lifestyle measures by getting consumer rewards points. And so you win in both ways. You get some points and you get healthier along the way. And so that's a great private sector innovation. Great public sector innovation is an example where we know our kids are being bombarded with ads and media that they should eat sugary foods, sugary drinks, deep-fried foods, fast foods. But here we have an innovation that's a school and community-based programming, helping kids be more literate with media, more literate with healthy food choices, so they can resist these effects on their own.
Right, absolutely. And of course, you've got this incredible conference coming up next week. It is Monday and Tuesday. It's at the University of Calgary at their downtown campus. All kinds of great speakers and a great way for all of us to learn a little bit more about this new Canada Food Guide. Thank you both so much for coming in this morning.